There are some
nutrients.
remote locations
Right,
that
right,
have areas
right,
of pockets
right,
of high quality
right.
nutrient density.
And that was your focus of this study or
Correct.
studies,
Correct.
that you had
Yes.
never done that before. And again, I want to emphasize, I mean, honestly, looking at the science now after 38 years and analyzing about every kind of diet out there, in good consciousness, in good faith, could you ever recommend to any of your people or participants or patients again to go on a traditional diet of lowering the quantity of food, now that we have the overwhelming evidence that this nutritional deficiency is such a huge deal? That's why, for example, with protein pacing, which you had invented, and I think you have it patented, et cetera, that you'd use like traditional food from the grocery store in the studies before: steak, chicken, liver, fish, et cetera. But these shakes that I really want you to sort of hone in on were the game changer, because essentially, as I calculated it, people consumed about a third less quantity of protein, and yet they got they got even more nutrition, especially the amino acids, but also talk about this enhancement by these natural vitamins and what a huge deal that is to address exactly what you just talked about this mineral vitamin deficiency. Look, the Lancet also did a study. It was in March of this year, 2024, saying that 1 billion people worldwide now are clinically obese, backing up what you just said to this previous study, and saying that making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. They went on to say, people don't understand that being underweight and being obese are both forms of malnutrition, because people aren't getting the right amount of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, the very thing you're talking about. There's the Lancet again proving this point. Well, you overcame that. Not just, like an infomercial, but you have the medical proof. This is what happens to the body when we give it what, let's say, used to be in food in this country 150 years ago. Thank goodness you found these sources from around the world. You guys you don't sell them, you have nothing to do with it, but that's what you used to fuel a result that has shocked you as a researcher, top researcher in the world for 38 years. This brings real hope to all of us. But I want you to highlight that point to validate what both of you were talking. We're both talking about the deficiency issue and why this shake now especially is so unique. And to my knowledge, it's the only one in the world that has any minerals, but also these natural vitamins that they've now enhanced it with, is taking it to a different stratosphere. I mean, is that, you think, what's going to happen?
Yes, for sure. It has to happen. It needs to happen. So, Peter, the struggle right now with our culture in general, and in the world for that matter in general, is that we are driven with our food consumption based on appetite. And appetite is, that psychological drive to eat. We have so many cues. We have such an abundance of a gluttonous food. It's highly palatable food, but very low nutrient density. So this high palatable food, processed food, by the way, is a driving force to eat. And we've missed the target on paying attention to our need to eat, our hunger cues, that are what are responsible for, keeping us alive and thriving. And so what this essentially comes down to is it's a reconnection to the quality of the nutrients that we're providing our body. And as you described, what this research has really shown to us is that when we provide the body with what it needs, not what it wants, but what it needs, it solves just about every one of the health challenges that we face. Things like metabolic dysfunction, diabetes, heart conditions, many of the neurocognitive decline and psychological behavioral mood state changes that people encounter. Things like toxin-related inflammatory conditions, cancer, and then musculoskeletal, the loss of bone mineral density, the loss of muscle mass,